What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to part 3 of the Road to 185 Overhead Press series. And I have some exciting stuff to report this time around. We have gained another 5-pound PR on the 1 rep max. We are now at 165 pounds out of 185. We're making some good fucking headway. I did not expect to be making this fast rate of progress on the overhead press at any given point in time ever before, but because I've increased my programming knowledge and I simply understand how to attack the issue now, I'm seeing progress on this lift like literally, like I said, never before.
Like never before.
And so within the past 2 weeks, I've added yet another 5 pounds onto the overhead press, and I'm going to kind of document that and illuminate how I've been able to do that despite this being one of my weakest lifts. Now, one of the main things I started doing was choosing variations of the overhead press to address the weaknesses that I have with it. So what I recently incorporated in the past 2 weeks was the Z press. Now, for those of you that don't know, a Z press is essentially an overhead press done from a seated position. For those of you that know what the Larson press is, it's essentially the Larson press version of an overhead press, wherein you take the legs out, and so now your stability is down to just the power of your core and upper back stabilizing muscles, and down to your shoulder mobility as well. If this is something that you struggle with, I noticed that in my overhead press, I am unstable. Once that bar is kind of going over my head, I'm wobbling, and I noticed that. So I looked up ways that I could address this issue, and the Z press is one of the main ways. Incorporating it and pushing it has immediately carried over to my standard strict overhead press, and I'm seeing results as quickly as within 2 weeks, as I've already said. And so yeah, exciting stuff. We're already moving in the right direction. Now, for those of you that want to look into the Z press and try it out, I will say it's not for say beginners. This is definitely not one you want to start using until you at least have a your overhead press at like 150, because it's a little bit tough on those of you that might not have the best mobility and those of you that might not have the best core stability just yet. You could potentially fall over, hurt yourself, that kind of thing. I do recommend that you build a good base with your pressing, your vertical pressing strength before you incorporate something like Z press. That being said, though, once you do get to a point that you can get a good benefit out of it, using it will help you out quite a bit, and I'm certainly glad I started trying it out as well. Now, that being said, we've also been making really good progress on the tricep department. My triceps are continuing to get stronger and stronger, and the main movement I'm using for that, as I've probably stated in the previous parts as well, is mainly the V-bar press down. You really can't go wrong with the V-bar press down, guys. This is one of the best movements you could possibly use to address a lockout issue, and it's been doing wonders for me, especially for the lateral head of the tricep, which is the area of the tricep where I could use the most help. As you can see, I have plenty of long head development on both sides, but the lateral head tends to lag behind. So the bigger this gets and the stronger this gets, the better and stronger your lockout's going to be. And that's kind of the main bread and butter of a movement like the V-bar press down. And I've currently got to the point that I can do 100 pounds for, I believe, 12 reps, which is the full stack plus 5 pounds. For those of you that don't know, by the way, if the stack is too light and you already max it out, you can actually like get a little plate and like put the pin through the hole in the plate and then attach that to the stack, and like there you go, you have more weight on there. So for those of you that don't know, try that out, and you can get more progressive overload from the same movement for a longer period of time. The V-bar press down is a lot like a JM press, but it's a little easier on your joints because it's a cable, not a free weight, so you kind of have that constant tension all throughout. It just feels better overall. Definitely one I recommend if you want a movement that's going to build your triceps like crazy while carrying over to all your main presses. This is one of the ones that you're going to want to definitely take advantage of. Now I want to take a moment to kind of go in full depth with what my current training split is looking like for those of you that are interested in that. Regarding the overhead press, I have 2 upper body sessions throughout the week, and I have an arm day. The full split is upper, lower arm day, with a rest day in between the upper lower cycles and the upper lower arm cycles there's a rest day at the end of each, making it a 7-day split. Now, the way that I break things up is, on the first upper body day, I have the overhead press as my main movement to start out with the upper body. So it's my vertical pressing movement, that's the main one. And I superset that with I superset that with weighted pull-ups or body weight pull-ups or whatever variation of pull-ups or however I'm trying to challenge it that day. And then the secondary movement on the first upper body session, I have the close grip bench press that I do after the overhead press. Shoulders are nice and warm, so it's a great way to follow up. Then I do a row. I'm currently doing mainly just chest supported machine rows, really targeting the upper back and those mid traps, kind of just getting that area back there with the rear delts and everything nice and healthy and strong and developed, because I'm doing a lot of pressing and you have to be able to balance that out. And then after that, another main movement that I'm doing to build up my overhead press from a hypertrophy standpoint is the hammer strength shoulder press. For those of you that don't know what that is, I'll put an example of it on screen, but essentially it allows you to lever yourself under some really good weight and push some heavy ass weight. And I'm at the point now where I'm doing 200 pounds for 2 sets of 10, so I'm getting really strong at that as well. With all of these pieces moving, the progress is kind of guaranteed. So that's upper body session 1. Upper body session 2 is the main press on that day. I have the Z press, so I do whatever sets and rep schemes I have programmed for that day with the Z press, and then same thing, I superset that with pull-ups of weighted or body weight, and then I do the Smith machine AD press as my secondary press on upper body 2 for the hypertrophy benefits of just getting bigger, stronger shoulders overall. I'm trying to specialize really in vertical pressing at this point, so that's kind of how I'm going about it, and the Smith machine AD press has been a great way of doing that. For this movement, I highly recommend that you first of all choose a higher than you're comfortable, very uncomfortable kind of rep range. Before I was doing it 8 to 10 reps, and I felt that it might be a little too low on the rep range scale, and recently I changed it to 12 to 15, and I'm getting a substantially better pump in my shoulders.
It's terrific, right?
A lot better of a kind of a mind-muscle connection, which is, I know, debated whether that even matters, but I think in my case, that's an area that's pretty hard for me to target and get a nice pump in. So if I'm able to get, a nice burn and pump all across here, that's a win for me, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'm gonna keep pushing that, and I'm gonna keep hammering that home. I'm not doing any crazy weight on that right now. It's only about 110 pounds I'm doing for sets of 10 to 15. But who knows? We're gonna keep pushing that and see how far I get with it. Then again, I do a seated cable machine row, followed up again by the hammer strength shoulder press. Now each upper body day also gets finished off by 4 sets for biceps and 4 sets for triceps, because I love arms. And then when it comes to the arm day, I open it up with the Larson press, so we do get a third pressing session in the week as well. The Larson press, where I kind of just push my limits on that. I try to get PRs every time I'm there. And currently my best Larson press is 280 for a 1 rep max, and then I'm also doing for volume 225, 5 sets at 6. So pretty good strength on that as well. I've noticed that the stronger that gets, that also carries over to pretty much everything else as well. And the more well-rounded the routine is, as far as the balance between horizontal and vertical pressing, the best you're going to get results as far as size and strength goes. Obviously right now, the main goal is vertical pressing, so a lot of it's skewed towards that. But yeah, so that's currently what I am doing, and that's kind of the in-depth nitty-gritty of my training right now as far as the split goes. Rep ranges, I'm typically doing lower reps on a lot of my upper body sessions. For the overhead press, I'm between sets of 3 and 6, and then for volume I do sets of 8 to 12. That's kind of how that breaks down. And yeah, guys, just wanted to check in. Everything's moving well. Again, my 1 rep max currently is 165 pounds. We are 10 pounds up from the beginning of this series. And it's looking like, who knows, maybe 185 by the end of this year was more doable than I thought. But we'll have to wait and see. That being said, progress is being made faster than I could have possibly expected, and I'm pretty happy about it. Well, thank you for your time. I'm glad you enjoyed this video today. If you want to see more videos like this one, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, boy!